There. Rolf Benirschke. Exactly.
See you, Rolf.
We solved that puzzle. I can't do it like Vanna, but I'm going to try. Joining us now is the most interesting man in NFL history. He's an All-Pro, Pro Bowl kicker, and former Walter Payton Man of the Year, a member of the San Diego Chargers Hall of Fame, a 12th-round pick out of UC Davis, and he also hosted the Wheel of Fortune. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Rolf Benirschke.
Hey! You guys are too funny.
How are you, Rolf?
Well, I'm thrilled to be here. Grateful for you. You didn't have to do that, but I really appreciate the way you came back and shared that. And it was, it blew up my phone. All of a sudden, I happened to be in Mexico, and my phone started ringing, and people have just seen the show, and that was very kind of you. But
of course,
very grateful to be here and appreciate.
We're excited to have you here. One thing I know about you is that you are a passionate Chargers man. You always have been. You always will be. Now, a lot of things have changed. But what do you think right now in the middle of the season about the 2019 Chargers?
Wow, that's a big question.
Yeah.
So we're all disappointed, obviously, in the way they're playing. But I think what goes way beyond that, we're still grieving as a city, right? Our heart was ripped out of us and moved out of town, and so the community is angry. We're frustrated. We're disappointed, and we're slowly sort of losing our emotional connection to the team, which is really interesting because it was so much a part of the community for years. You know, back when I played, there was no free agency, Nate, so we played our whole careers there.
Yep.
And the city got to know you. And it behaves like a small town. You got to know everybody that runs the city. So for us to suddenly be ripped away is hard for people. The unintended consequences of that, way beyond just the football, is all the involvement in the community from all the players that are doing their thing, whatever it is gone. And so we're grieving. We also ache for players like Philip Rivers, who we all love and is a great player, still lives in San Diego, and will forever be loved by the community.
Yeah, a long drive for him every day. Let's talk about Philip Rivers. This is a Philip Rivers loving show.
Sure,
there are people who give him a bad rap. Does he deserve it? What do they do with him going forward?
Oh, my goodness, not at all. He's one of the nicest guys you'll find, one of the most competitive guys if you're an athlete. The guy's first guy in there. He's a gym rat. I mean, if he didn't have, he'd be in the gym anyway. So. He's loved. He's a competitor. I think what we're seeing at the end of his career here is a guy trying to make it happen, maybe forcing it too much, feeling the burden to carry it while he's still got some years to go. And I think they're just, unfortunately, with the injuries they've gone through, they don't have the people around him that give him the opportunity to break the offensive line. But he's just a gamer.
He's not getting younger, though.
No, he's not getting younger. And you know, we were talking beforehand, the transition out of the game is hard for everybody. For him, it's been a long time. That's his whole life. It's his whole identity. He's got 9 kids. But there's a whole life after football that we sometimes don't realize when we're playing, and he can do whatever he wants when he's done.
I'm supposed to ask about the Holy Roller and some stuff in your playing days. But before you came on air, you did mention that you had a relationship with Ron Rivera going back to his San Diego coaching days. He gets fired yesterday. Your initial thoughts, and I'd like to know, did you know then, when he was a San Diego assistant, that Ron Rivera would someday be an NFL coach?
The answer to that question is yes. He is such a quality man. You saw it in the press conference. I saw it when I first came here, what happened. I'm sad for him. But I also know he's going to end up in a great place. He's a leader of men. He's a quality guy. He cares about his players. Players love him. And he knows football. He's played it. He's a leader. The guy's absolutely going to land on his feet. And who knows where that's going to be? That's the big projection right now, but he's going to coach somewhere.
Now, as part of the NFL's 100 season, the NFL's putting together a list of the best players of all time, right, from each position. And this week, they're doing special teamers. So they have guys like Ray Guy, Morton Anderson, Adam Vinatieri, of course. So I want to ask you, who do you think should be on that list of special teamers, the best of all time?
Wow, those are hard ones. Yeah, there's so many great ones over the years. But for sure, on the punting side, it should be Ray Guy. They should have a separate category. Ray Guy changed the game as a punter for the Raiders back in the day. Great athlete. I mean, he could literally throw the ball 100 yards. We watched him do it, throw the ball 100. Great pitcher in college. So he definitely on the punting side. You know, Morton is probably the right guy. Adam is certainly breaking a lot of the...
Where's Benirschke on the list?
Benirschke was grateful to have been in the league for 10 years. But the name that's not on the list is Gary Anderson. Phenomenal kicker, humble guy, quiet guy.
Did it for a long time at a high level.
Long time, played in different stadiums, different holders, different conditions. What we forget, back when we played, the snappers and holders, they were sort of afterthoughts. Now if you're a smart guy, you're a snapper your whole career. You play 15 or 20 years, and all you do is snap.
Yeah.
And you get so good at it, it becomes easier for everybody.
Not to mention the field conditions, you guys.
Field conditions are very different back then, for sure. But, you know, Morton was so good for so long. Obviously played in the Dome most of his career.
Did you guys all have a fraternity? Like, you all got along? You knew each other? Like Gary Anderson, for example. Like, you'd be friendly with him just playing against him?
You know, absolutely. You know, it's a small fraternity. There's 32 of us, and those of us that got to play for a while, you build their relationships over the years, and so whenever you'd see each other, you learn how you train and what you're doing. Because nobody was teaching us. We were kind of teaching ourselves, and it was a special time for sure.
We got to solve this puzzle.
Yes!
Now, all of us have some interesting things on our resume in one way or another, but host of Wheel of Fortune, that is American history.
Talk about it.
Tell us how this came to be and what was it like?
Oh, my plan from the beginning.
Yeah, right.
No, it's
Look at you!
funny story. Yeah, who is that guy?
Oh, my gosh.
Years ago. So I was literally doing a 5-city media tour shortly after I retired, talking about this illness I went through. Kyle, you know, I went through a difficult illness when I played. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, needed surgeries, ended up having to wear an ileostomy bag for 4 years, got to play with it, played 7 more years after my surgeries. And I was doing a tour talking about the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation and the importance of raising research dollars and funding this kind of thing. And I was in LA and doing the Good Morning LA, AMLA, and I was the third segment. And as you know, in TV, they say don't follow kids, don't follow animals.
Don't do that.
The first segment was these precocious kids from Les Miserables. Funny, cute. I mean, I'm going, oh no.
Gavroche.
The next segment was a guy who had what he was calling the pet of the 90s.
This is good.
He had 30 cages of rabbits, and he's pulling out these rabbits, these cute little cameras zooming in. But pretty soon, the rabbits start doing what rabbits
That's
start
what they do.
On
That's
television?
right.
on television.
Good
And
TV.
They're going,
Oh my God!
The host is just totally lost, and finally goes, well, we're going to come right back with Rolf Benirschke and his life-threatening story of and I'm going, oh my gosh. So, of course, we go on from there and we have a little fun with it. And it turns out Merv Griffin is watching the show.
Merv Griffin's watching at home.
Watching the show.
Watching the rabbits
And
race.
he's actually building another show, and he's looking for the host, and he tracks me down, and he invites me to come up there. And I'm just leaving football, trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. Not that this was ever a goal of mine. And in the middle of sort of getting to know him, it turns out that Pat Sajak takes a nighttime talk show gig
The Pat Sajak Show.
on a different network, which requires him to leave the daytime version on NBC to do that. And so now they're looking for a host. And the truth is, so I go up, I meet Vanna and go on this thing a couple of times, and I'm actually back in New York. I'm giving a talk, and I fly home, and on a Sunday night, there's a message on my answer machine. You're the new host. We start on Thursday.
Unbelievable.
We start on Thursday.
Wow.
I'm going, don't you train the host?
Yes.
Yeah, watch the show a few times, but come on.
Rolf, we all want to applaud right now. But first, what are you doing here in New York? I know the book Alive and Kicking is something you put a lot of heart and thought into. Tell us quickly what you're doing here in the
So look, my illness changed my life. I became passionate about it, became a calling. I'm very involved with patients and healthcare, built a consulting company around that, started a program called the Grateful Patient Project. We have a day named the National Grateful Patients Day, September 7th, the day that I actually returned to football after my illness. So we're raising awareness of that. We're collecting stories, talking about the kinds of things people overcome and how it changes them, and really providing hope to other patients. So I'm here to give a talk actually at the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. There's an IBD conference. We started a biotech company a couple of years ago where we're looking for solutions to the disease. We're excited about where that's going. So my whole life is really in healthcare and the opportunity to deflect attention like this to things that are important to me, and that's one of them. I'm on the board of the zoo.
Yeah.
My dad was a research director there, started the foundation, and so very involved in a lot of things like that.
Rolf, you're the best. There's a lot more to you than kicking field goals and buying vowels, and I know you've had a very, very deep life, and we're flattered to have you here. Thank you so much.
You did such a great job.
Thank you,
for having me.
The great Rolf Benirschke.
Thank you.
We made it happen.
He hosted the wheel.
The wheel.
I can't deal with it. We'll be back after this with more, of course, on Ron Rivera. We also